Well, hey there. Daily Scare Share. Day 392 of doing one thing a day that scares me. Things like showing up on Facebook Live in a turban because my hair is wet and I just got out of the shower. Actually, the tub. I'm a tub person. Well, every day in the last year, I have done one thing a day that scares me, that stretches my comfort zone. From this little journal book, Do One Thing a Day That Scares You. And in this book, I've started and stopped it at least 7 times. And then last year I decided, okay, on January 4th, I'm going to do it every day for a year and I'm going to share it so that I hold myself accountable. So I hop on Facebook Live. I've hopped on Facebook Live 392 days in a row now and just gone over what is the next thing in the book. Well, when I started it, I just started where I left off. I didn't go back to the beginning of the book because it was already written in and I didn't think that I wanted to. And then after I finished the book a little bit ago, I decided, I'm going to do all the pages. I'm going to do every page in the book because then I've really completed it full cycle. So a couple of interesting observations. The first time that I went through and did this book, I did it for 10 days and then I quit. That's the first time I quit, was after the 10th day. And I think that's probably why I think that people need more than a 5-day challenge if they're really going to commit to or do something. You know, everywhere there's 5-day challenges. And that's because marketers know that a lot more people will stick to and actually survive a 5-day challenge and then want more than will ever make it beyond that. That's why even 14-day and 21 days and 30-day challenges, which I like the most. I love 30-day challenges because it gives you a taste of what's possible and it really weeds out the people that aren't committed to actually making the change and getting the result that they say that they want. So I learned by my own example that 5 days is not enough because I made it past day 5. I made it all the way past day 10, and then I stopped doing it. Now, if you recall, my ICD went off, and that was part of why I initially quit doing it. But then, interestingly enough, I picked it up on November 6th of 2014, but all I wrote in here was that I got a haircut. Now, it's interesting. It tells me a lot about myself, which is why I like doing things like this. All of these things that we do, and especially when we're committing to ourselves and learning and growing, they're all about getting to know ourselves better and what makes us tick. Well, it's interesting because the challenge today says, go outside your style comfort zone. And then it's one of those grid type boxes where in the very center is my comfort zone. Then it says willing to try, reluctant to try, and terrifying. And our challenge says, think about possible styles to try and diagram how far they fall outside of your comfort zone. Now, what's interesting is that I didn't even do this page. I skipped this. That's how much I didn't even want to answer this question back then. So that tells me a lot about myself. And since I'm living as the pajama grandma, well within my comfort zone, which is kind of stretching outside my comfort zone for most people because they think it's weird as heck, but it's totally in my comfort zone. Excuse me, a little tickle in my throat today. But I actually did it today, and here's what I wrote. And then I put a big arrow up that says I'm comfortable to more terrifying based on how fancy or high class or hoity-toity or haute couture or I guess expensive or fancy or showy or attention getting, I in my mind think that type of style is. So pajama grandma, that's totally in my comfort zone, you know, yoga clothes and exercise clothes, going to the state park and being in my pajamas and being in my robe. I'm super duper comfortable. So that's totally in my comfort zone. You know, then willing to try jeans, grandma clothes, you know, clothes appropriate to my age. I'm totally cool with those. You know, sometimes a little lacy, frilly, fun stuff. But I'm pretty comfortable with of course, all of the things that I have in my closet. Now, I put reluctant to try, and I put business suits because I've spent a lot of years in business suits, and I don't want to go back to that. So I'm going to say I'm reluctant to try business suits or super professional business type clothing. And then terrifying, I put fashion, high fashion, haute couture. And it's funny because I couldn't even spell haute couture. I knew how to spell the haute or however you pronounce it. I can't even pronounce it, much less spell it. Obviously, definitely way outside my comfort zone. You're probably never going to see me wearing fancy smancy designer clothes or anything high fashion. I don't see myself as that. Therefore, it's outside my comfort zone. So what is outside and inside your style comfort zone? Are you a jeans and t-shirt kind of person? Are you a robe and bath pajamas kind of person? Are you an underwear kind of person? Let's be honest, a lot of people run their online businesses in their underwear. We just don't want to know. So I think it's interesting. I learned a lot about myself today just by doing this exercise again. And so just going back and starting over, it might be annoying to you or to other people, but to me, it's been valuable in the lessons that it's shown me about myself and how I worked in the past and how I may or may not want to continue in the future, going forward and doing what it is that I have to do. Now, what's really interesting is I'm noticing already that I did it for one day and then I quit again for 12 days. So another 2 weeks went by before I did this again. And then I did it a couple of days, I guess it was 11 days. And then I have two days I didn't do it at all. I missed the page. I don't know if I missed the page. And then I went another, well, then I went to right after my dad died. So the reason I quit doing this at that time was we found out that my dad had brain cancer. And so through this period of time, my dad was dying and I didn't have time to, and I was definitely doing things outside my comfort zone, but I didn't have the time and energy to actually do this every day during that period. And it might have been really interesting and enlightening, but I think it would have been awful sad because it was kind of a sad period of time for my family. And fortunately for us, and fortunately for my father, it went pretty quickly. Once he was diagnosed and we knew what was going on, it went pretty quickly. So between his birthday and the 21st of December, a couple days before Christmas, he passed away or transformed. I say transitioned or transformed. But so I understand why I wasn't writing in the book at that time. And I think it's interesting that I picked it up 2 days after he passed away and did it. And there's a couple days I didn't even date. And then I let it go for a really long time. I picked it up for a couple of days after he died. And then I didn't date a couple of days. And then I didn't pick it up again until the day after his birthday of the following year. And then I let it go for, I can't read this. Well, that can't be right because I've got 11, 16, 15, and then I've got 3, 20, 15. So, well, maybe I did the pages out of order. But then I don't pick it up until 11, 17, 17. I find it fascinating that I picked it up around my dad's birthday every year. Interesting. Very interesting. And then I picked it up last year and did the whole dang thing. So, what can you do today to stretch your style comfort zone? You could show up on your Facebook Lives in a turban and your pajamas. For those of you listening on the podcast, I've got a green towel on my head because I washed my hair and I've got my robe and pajamas on, like I do most days. So anyway, that's it. Go out and make it a fantastic day. Don't be scared. You got this. Know that it's okay to stretch your comfort zone, not only for style, but absolutely any way that moves you in the direction you want your life to go. All right. I'll catch you tomorrow.